right now we cannot get our live truck back into that scene. Hopefully in the next couple of minutes we may be able to. The streets have started to clear up a little bit as people were coming into this area, just nonstop, complete gridlock just about an hour ago. Now it's gotten a little bit better. Right now, again, search and rescue operations are continuing over at the school building. I don't know for sure how many kids have been taken out of that school. I can tell you a number of kids were taken out, although when we were out there, there were still rescue crews that were out on scene attempting to get kids. The last information I heard from scene just about 5 minutes ago, they said there may have been kids that were trapped towards the back of the school in the basement area. Again, right now I don't know how many kids were still in that school, how many got out of the school, but again, we know some of the kids obviously got out of that school because, again, we talked to a couple of them so that some of those kids were safe, escaped injury. Some of the teachers doing their very best try to protect those kids may have been severely injured, maybe even killed in this storm. Again, it's really indescribable when you look around. You do just literally 360 degrees everywhere you look, total devastation in this area. We'll try to have much more as this continues. Back to you guys.
Jesse, you have to talk to us about those kids who
We've been watching KFOR's coverage of a devastating tornado that has hit Moore, Oklahoma, on the south side of Oklahoma City. You were just listening to that reporter describe what was going on at that elementary school and the fact that there was a hero teacher that was just trying to protect the students, and unfortunately the teacher himself or herself got badly injured by that tornado. We don't know about any deaths at this point, though.
And you're looking at some of the pictures right now of the devastation in Moore, Oklahoma. EF4, this is Plaza Tower. This is the school where they think still some elementary students are trapped, possibly the back part of the school, which may be a little more difficult to get to. There are cars that were thrown into the school. And from the reporter, we were wondering if there was a basement. He did say some of them may be in the basement. So hopefully, if we have any hope that there are survivors with this, that they were in a basement and were protected, but maybe everything's on top.
Teachers really trying to do whatever they could to shield those elementary school kids. But we also understand from KFOR's coverage that I-35 is completely shut down southbound to I-40. All lanes are reserved for first responders, emergency responders. That's it. Nobody else is allowed to get into that area.
And there's already a lot of responders on the road right now. Let's go ahead and get back to Carl now, who's going to update us on some other possible tornadoes out there. Is it quieting down at all, Carl?
Well, you know, it is quieting down in the sense that we're not seeing the really pronounced rotational couplets that we've seen earlier, although occasionally these storms are getting a little bit stronger. One thing we really want to do keep an eye on is the cell that is now south and west of Dallas and Fort Worth. So if you're in that metro area, you definitely want to stay tuned, and we'll keep an eye on this cell. Let's take a look at it right now and show you what's going on with that. There is a tornado warning on this cell. It's moving off towards the northeast at about 20 miles per hour, and it's a tornado warning for Brown County, including the cities of Blanket, May, and Owens. And we can get a look at the track of this particular storm, again moving towards the northeast right along 377, Route 377 right now, and generally headed towards Stephenville. And so not moving very quickly, and it's going to be into Comanche, we think, coming up here in probably about the next 20 minutes. So we certainly have seen rotation on that, and we want you to be very careful there in Comanche as that continues to move to the north. Now farther northward and up towards the Red River Valley, rotating storms here, supercell storms coming into Ardmore, although right now the warning for that cell has been changed to a severe thunderstorm warning. And then we've got a tornado warning a little farther to the south and to the west, and that includes Nocona and Capps Corner. That is Montague County there, and that rotation, you see the hook echo right in here. That's along Route 82 and right along the Red River Valley, and that's another one we're going to watch very closely as that moves eastward. So we've got a pretty good couplet right there. That is now moving towards Belcherville. It should be near Nocona around the top of the hour. Not much going on right now in Oklahoma City. The cell that produced that tornado has worked off to the north and to the east. Still some severe thunderstorm warnings for hail and wind. As you can see, it has quieted down, thankfully, there around Oklahoma City. Severe thunderstorm warnings near Tulsa and then up along the 44 corridor. And then we've also seen a rotating storm to the east of Kansas City. And in fact, it did have a pretty good rotational signature a few minutes ago. That is no longer the case. And right now we are looking at severe thunderstorm warnings right along I-70 and just north and west of 44. So certainly there are a couple of cells that are producing rotation right now. Tornado watch continues until 1 a.m. This is the new tornado watch for the St. Louis metro area, western parts of Illinois, and also into eastern Missouri. And could continue to be a very long night. A lot to watch in the coming hours. Guys, back to you. And let's go now back to some of the live pictures from KFOR and take a look at some of the damage. And I'll tell you, I've been doing this for quite a long time, and this is among the worst damage that I've ever seen. This storm really peaked right around the time it was getting into this very heavily populated area south of Oklahoma City, right along the 35 corridor. The storm was not a long-lived tornado, ramped up very quickly from having a small signature to being a massive tornado with perhaps a damage path that was as much as 1.5 miles to maybe even 2 miles wide. And it was on the ground for about 40 minutes. This was between about 2:56 and 3:36 this afternoon. And again, a couple of schools have been affected by this storm. You see the rescue efforts continuing there. Apparently parts of I-35 are now shut down. They are asking people to not go out and see what is going on there, because rescue crews from all over the state are now converging on this area south of Oklahoma City, and they need for the roads to be clear and for people not to get out there and to be looking at what has happened in this terrible, terrible situation south of Oklahoma City. Kim, Kelly, back to you.
Carl, thank you so much. This is just an unbelievable scene that we are watching unfold before us. Before it was a tornado before our eyes. We were covering that live here on the Weather Channel. Now it's the devastation here in Moore, Oklahoma, just to the south of Oklahoma City. Lieutenant Governor Todd Lamb, we spoke to him earlier on the phone. He couldn't confirm any death toll at this point, but he fears that there will be loss of life because this was such a large, dangerous tornado.
And he did say the governor was asking for help, seeking outside help, and there will be a lot of people converging on Moore. I think probably tomorrow more people will get into the city or get into the neighborhood and be able to evaluate and continue with the search and rescue. Night is coming here pretty soon, so they don't have much left as far as daylight is concerned. And at least right now the radar looks a little quiet in the area, which is good.
All right, we want to check in with Alex Wilson. She's joining us from our satellite center. Alex has new information, right, Alex?
That's right, and we want to kind of recap also what we've learned so far so that people who are just joining us, tuning into the coverage, know exactly what they're looking at. The latest information is that there's an all call for any and all people who are trained to be first responders to head into the area. You know, you guys just mentioned that those roads are backed up, so nobody should be on the roads, but if you are a first responder, you're qualified to serve as a first responder. Officials in the area are making that all call, so anybody and everyone who can get down there and help out. You can see, I mean, by the scenes that we've been looking at throughout the afternoon in the Oklahoma City area, any and all help is much needed. Of course, one of the areas that we have been watching in particular is this area that is to the south of I-240 and to the west of I-35, and these are the areas where we've seen the theater, the bowling alley, and of course that Plaza Tower School. This Plaza Tower School located on Southwest 11th Street, and our latest reports coming out from our affiliate KFOR TV. Last count, about 75 students in this and teachers in the south portion of the school. Now, apparently they had already evacuated 4th, 5th, and 6th graders. This is a pre-K through 6th grade school, and they had already evacuated the older kids. This apparently was a 3rd grade class that sought shelter in this particular hallway. Now, one of the people that KFOR spoke to said that this was a reinforced cinder block hallway, so the hallway had very sturdy walls around it. These are the kind of places that you go to seek shelter, and you're taught to seek shelter in the case of a tornado. However, this person did say that that area is completely decimated. So at this point, they are looking at searching for these children, likely under the rubble of these walls. And we have seen this video. You can see the buildings completely destroyed, and we're likely talking about these students and teachers that they are looking for that could be trapped underneath quite a bit of rubble. Now, they did say that parents were asked to stay back. I know very difficult for the parents to do, but they wanted the parents to stay back so that first responders and emergency rescuers were able to hear any potential cries for help coming in from trapped teachers or trapped students. It's apparently a 3rd grade class, as I said, 8 to 9 years old. Lance West, he is a reporter at KFOR, did say that he saw one boy did get pulled out of that rubble. Also, a teacher was pulled out of the debris, but he did say a very anguished look on some of the faces of those rescuers around the area, so kind of alluding to the fact that we could be looking at possible deaths, definitely some more injuries coming out. We spoke to Todd Lamb, who is the Oklahoma Lieutenant Governor, said the National Guard was going to be deployed to this Moore and and South Oklahoma City area. Unfortunately, with the roads backed up, they were having a hard time to get people there, and cell phones were also jammed.